Getting familiar with Proliance. Part 3, Views and Active Reports. Proliance has numerous reporting options to use with your programs and projects. This tutorial will focus specifically on working with register views and ad hoc document reports, as well as the ACR for project financials. Working with each of these allows you to control your on-screen display, as well as generate printed or exported output as you need it. Part 1 of the Getting Familiar with Proliance videos introduced you to the register. Registers are lists of documents showing a summary set of fields for each document. You have control of the fields that are displayed through the use of register views, from which you can export and print what we call active reports. The Proliance Anticipated Cost Report, or ACR, has similar capabilities as a register view in that you have control over the columns displayed and the grouping, though this view is a roll-up of budget and cost management transactions as opposed to documents. When you work with register views or the ACR, you can choose who will have access to a view, what will be displayed, and what views you want to see or display for yourself. The first time you log into Proliance and navigate to a register, you will find the Register View drop-down contains just two views, Standard and Basic. The Proliance Standard configuration has over 200 pre-configured views for your use. You just need to choose which ones you want to see. From a register, click the Views drop-down and select Manage Views. The Views Manager will appear, and you will see here a list of views beyond just Standard and Basic. Click the Edit menu and select the views that you want to see within your own drop-down list. You may even want to turn off Basic and Standard. Click Apply, and then click Close. You can then choose any of the views that you have now turned on for your menu. Now, what if you want a view that is a little different? Again, click the View drop-down and click Manage Views. Depending on your permissions, you'll be able to work with the views that you see in the list or create a new view. I'll keep things simple and just copy one of the existing ones. And just call it My Contract View. You can set the shared type to personal or shared, personal being the views that are personal to yourself and not shared with your team members, while shared views will be shared with the rest of your team members. You may not see two options here depending on your security permissions. I'm setting mine to personal. Once I click OK, I can then select that new view and click Edit. The Columns tab allows me to choose which columns I want to see. In this case, I don't want to see I'm going to set this to only look at pending contracts. So I'm going to remove the total invoiced column. I could also reset any of the priorities simply by selecting any of the fields and using the priority arrows to move them up and down, and that will change the order of the columns. For sorting, you can choose any of the fields in your view and set them to the ascending or descending order. Of course, you can always stack your sorting as well. The Filters tab allows you to determine which documents you may want to filter from the list or include within your view. In my case, I am going to eliminate a couple states because I'm not interested in approved or canceled or closed contracts. So first thing I will do is set my state type to be not approved, and I know that I'm going to have a few of these, so I'm going to choose AND in my optional operator. And then similarly, I'm going to say is not canceled, and click Add, and then is not closed. And that way I only include essentially pending contracts. For my last operator, I will remove and say no operator. So I have state type is not approved, and the state type is not canceled, and the state type is not closed. Optionally, you can make different combinations of ands and ors in order to create more sophisticated filters on your views. When you're all done, you can click Save and then click Close. Now I can choose my new view, and you can see it's filtered out a number of the approved contracts, and it's also removed the total invoice column. The ACR is very similar to working with views. You can navigate to it underneath Cost Control and ACRs. If you have not already done so, you may still only see Standard and Basic in your ACR views, so you may want to click Manage ACR Views, again, Edit Menu, and turn on any of the views you want to see. Then you go ahead and open one up. Which displays the anticipated cost report. The ACR groups financial information in a hierarchy designed for this specific view, such as I see here, where I have a level of my work breakdown structure followed by the projects that I have within my overall program. NA simply means these are costs or budgets that are not assigned to a specific project. They're simply at the program level. Now, clicking through further, if I were to click on any of the columns in here, will show me a list of the documents that have values on them assigned to a particular account or this level of my hierarchy. If I click through further, that will actually take me to the actual document that is, in this case, creating this commitment. Editing ACR views is similar to editing views. So I can click my view drop-down again and click the Manage Views. I'll just create a new ACR view and just call it My ACR. Again, leave it as personal. You'll notice here that I still have columns and filters, but I have a grouping tab now, and we'll talk about that in a moment. For my ACR, I'm going to include just some budget items, such as the approved original budget, changes, transfers, the current budget, any pending budget, and the overall projected budget. Keep it simple at that. I'm not going to apply any filters, but I will look at some grouping. Now, the grouping, I can group by any of my cost account grouping codes, reporting codes, the project hierarchy codes, and any level of those codes in any order of my choosing. So just because my WBS follows a certain hierarchy, I can actually flip the hierarchy within the ACR if I like to do that. In this case, I'm just going to use my cost type and the cost account title. I can also set my sorting directly here. You'll notice there is not a separate sorting tab for ACR. Click Save, and just apply that. And now you see the ACR is a little bit different. The columns have changed for what I see, and my hierarchy is simply by my cost type and with my cost account titles underneath. The ACR views can be a lot of fun to experience with once your team has set up your cost accounts, budgets, and some contracts. The ACR is just a view of your financial information, so you need not fear messing up any of your financial data as you play with this. Every view in Proliance is also a dynamic tabular report and can be exported. When you print, you can choose additional information for the header and the footer from the Headers and Footers tab to include such information as your company information, information about your workspace, your program or project, as well as setting some footer text or any pagination. You can also choose your report viewer or kind of output format. My favorite is PDF. I'll just click Preview. Open my report, and there I have it. We call these active reports because they dynamically respond to whatever you have set up in your view. So if you build a view with a certain filter or certain column showing, that is exactly what is going to show up in your report. Similarly, from your view, you can go ahead and click Export, and Proliance will generate a Microsoft Excel file for you to download and open. As we see here. You can print individual documents from the register by clicking the document or multiples and selecting the Batch Print Selected from the Print menu. The Sections tab allows you to choose which sections from the document that you actually want to print, and they are organized by page, as we have reviewed previously, and then the sections within there. So there's only a few things that I want to include, so I'm going to remove quite a bit. And once I have done so, I'll click Preview. Again, open my report, and I get a single document summary of the data from my from that one specific document. Again, these are quick, easy. We call them dynamic reports that allow you to quickly generate some output in a format that you can easily carry with you. Take some time to practice working with views, editing your views menus, and editing or creating new views in the ACR views, as well as printing and exporting views and documents.